Today we're going to continue the Advent series by looking at the King of Kings. Imagine if you were the King of Kings and the Lord of all the universe. What would you do? This is a question that I asked a few of my young friends. Let's see what they had to say. We can see here that Josiah cares about people who are in trouble. Theo has been struggling with sharing, and he doesn't want to have to share his toys. Zach has a keen sense of justice and knows how things ought to be. Sammy wants to have access to all the good stuff. Let's now look at what Psalm 72 says. This is a psalm written about the King Solomon, but what we can see is a heart cry from the psalmist on what the ideal king should be. The psalmist is looking for a king who is full of justice and who is right. He wants a king who will defend the poor, who will crush oppression and violence, and who will bring in a kingdom of righteousness and peace. It's also important that this king rules over all, so that there's no dissent anywhere, but this kingdom of righteousness is complete and total. This is the king that the people of Israel were waiting for. And that first Christmas, thousands of years ago, they didn't expect him to come being born in a stable. They might have expected him arriving with fanfare. But Jesus was a king who came in humility. And we know that he has brought in this kingdom of justice and of righteousness, where the poor and the needy and the downtrodden are no longer oppressed. And that is what we look forward to celebrating at Christmas, is the coming of a new kind of kingdom. It brings a challenge for us as well, because he is the King of all kings, and that calls us to submit to him. And a question we all need to ask ourselves is, are we submitting to Jesus as King of Kings and Lord of Lords? His kingdom brings in righteousness and justice, and maybe that's something we need to look at in our lives. Think, can we be part of his kingdom in standing up for righteousness, or maybe standing against injustice? That kind of challenge is hard on our own, but the wonderful thing is that his kingdom comes and he makes us new, and he fills us and empowers us with his spirit and enables us to live these things for him while we wait for his kingdom to fully come. Happy Christmas.